Hello, this is your Midnight Movies podcast with your hosts
Michael,
Nadia,
and Lissy.
Coming up, I have a chat with Ty West, the director of the new film The Innkeepers, which is a spooky horror film.
Lissy reviews something called The Atom Age Vampire.
And we've got our top 3 moments in Jaws, which is celebrating the re-release in cinemas this summer.
Hi, this is Ty West, and you're listening to the Midnight Movies podcast.
We have had a bit of a break, haven't we? It's been a long time since our last one. We've
Put
been
our feet up a little bit.
gaining weight.
I think that we've just been working on making it even better.
Exactly. We've got some exciting news about our next event, which is going to end the show, just to tantalise you. But we've noticed that actually Midnight Movies is becoming very popular. There's lots of Midnight Movie events all around London and all around the UK.
They've been breeding like mice.
Which is great.
Like rabbits.
You know.
You were going to say rats.
Rodents.
Something more sinister.
It's also been topped off by the fact that Little White Lies has even done a sort of Midnight Movies double feature
Yeah,
with
did a
their new
special
edition.
issue.
They've got The Innkeepers, so Nadia's going to speak to the director of that, and also The Rage. They've got double cover, and also they've got a little feature on how to program the best double bill with your hosts being interviewed.
They asked us what we'd program. So if you want to know what our ideal double bill is and some tips if you're thinking of programming your own Midnight Movie double bill, then check it out. Yeah. So other news. This weekend I was at Kapow Comic Con in London. And I managed to get some audio from some panel discussions, lots of comic book writers, people like Mark Miller. Joe Quesada was there, he was the head of Marvel.
It's Mark Miller's convention, isn't it? I think he started it up. Yeah, you went there.
Well, the panel was called Miller's World. I was like, wow.
I think he started it up.
He's a dude. He's like some big shot. Anyway, I'm kind of in the deep end here a little bit because I'm not the biggest sort of comic book geek. I know a little bit.
And I am.
do.
You look like it though.
Fine. Yeah, what is it? My Supergirl t-shirt.
Yeah, it's your cat suit.
Gives it away.
I think it's your BO.
And the cats. I'm mixing comics. It's DC though, that's fine. Oh dear. Anyway, so here's what happened at Kapow.
I remember in 1989, whenever the Tim Burton Batman movie came out, there was a massive spike in Batman sales. Like, friends of mine who were doing Batman, their lives were changing, with the amount of royalties they were getting and so on. But subsequent comic book movies that are better than that film, like huge movies like the Spider-Man movies, the 3 Batman movies that we've got at the moment, and every one of them, it literally hasn't changed a single sale. Like a Spider-Man movie comes out and it sells the exact same as it sold the month before the Spider-Man movie came out. It's really curious. But what I found really interesting is that Sin City, the books went insane, right? They sold 1 million copies of those books around the time of Sin City. Scott Pilgrim, even a movie that wasn't a success, sold a ton of books. Kick-Ass, ton of books. Watchmen, ton of books. Walking Dead now, ton of books. And I realise what it is it's because they don't have 16 books out a month and people aren't confused. And the tone is actually very similar. So you don't have a bunch of guys of varying quality doing a confused X-Men or Batman storyline or something. It's a singular vision of a creator. Like, if you like O'Malley and you like Scott Pilgrim, the chances are you'll enjoy those books as much as you enjoy the movies. And I think this is what makes me realise this decade is very much the creator-owned decade.
I'm joined by Kieran Gillen. Thanks very much for talking to us today. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for having me here.
It must be particularly tricky for you, having come from Uncanny X-Men, to sort of see your beloved X-Men fighting against the Avengers. I mean, is there any kind of loyalty to your sort of characters? How difficult is that to write?
Oh no, I'm shamelessly a partisan. That's kind of my deliberate thing, especially in Uncanny X-Men. I am on the X-Men side, and it's like I'm writing it explicitly to try to say why this is a perfectly reasonable thing to do. So I'm totally on the X-Men side. It's going to be great. They've got the AVX panel tomorrow, and I believe I'm the only writer on the panel, and basically means that the whole thing's going to be an hour of mutant propaganda. It's going to be great.
Any stunts expected tomorrow?
Always. If I turn up with
stage invasions and
Magneto helmet is what I really want to have. A few placards, free all the kids from Utopia. This is basically a police state we're talking about here, and the fascism of Captain America will be struck down.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I really like Kieran Gillen. I think he's awesome. He's writing X-Men at the moment.
Yeah. And that sort of Thor spin-off.
Journey into Mystery.
With Loki. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy.
Everyone likes Loki at the moment, don't they?
They love him.
With his mewling Quim and all that.
He's got lovely horns.
He has got lovely horns, hasn't he? Good stick. Anyway,
What?
I haven't seen his warhorse.
Good stick. Oh yeah,
Anyway.
he's got a stick. Okay, he's got horns and a
Anyway,
big
back
rod.
to the show. Lissy is going to review Atom Age Vampire, which
So unnecessary.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Just laughing about his big rod.
Yeah.
come on now,
She wants to get her hands on his
let's
pole.
rein it in.
Stop it. Okay.
It's a very
so Lissy,
low key conversation.
So Lissy, you watched this DVD. It's been out for a while, right? How did you hear about it?
Only a little while, only since 1960.
They didn't have DVDs in 1960.
No, but it is out now.
Okay.
It's not a new release, but I figured I'd go and revisit a classic.
why not?
Even if people have said it's not very good, I enjoyed it. It's called Atom Age Vampire. It's an Italian film, so it's actually called Sadoc Lorend di Satana.
You will freeze as you watch a warped scientist become transformed into a godless beast when his bloody scalpel probes the forbidden secrets of a woman's flesh.
It's about a stripper who is disfigured in a car accident, and she finds a crazy doctor who has worked out how to get rid of her disfigurement. But the treatment doesn't last very long, and she's intensely beautiful, lots of hair flicking, very dramatic.
I love that.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't seen this much hair flicking ever in a film.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so he can cure her, but only temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
And so he keeps knocking her out when the scar comes back, and he goes and kills women, takes their glands out, treats them with a special serum, then puts them in her. When she wakes up, she still looks perfect.
Sounds a little bit like Eyes Without a Face, and
Yes,
It's
it does.
sounds very similar.
It's either heavily inspired by or basically
rip-off.
based on, yes, Eyes Without a Face. There has also been an animated film.
Version
Done?
of it. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
animated
so it's a
version.
pretty big deal then. People, it's kind of got cult status.
Well, yeah, for something that's actually supposed to be really awful, it does have cult status. And in 2011, there was an artist called Adam Roberts who did the whole film screen by screen, but without any actors, just using
What?
the scenes and the voiceovers. It's really sinister. Check it out. I didn't think it would be very
that sounds
very good,
good.
but actually,
So
it's
what
quite
did you
freaky.
think of the original, this film version? Then?
I
Is it good?
really enjoyed it for sheerly for how dramatic it is. It's so over the top, but it's actually also got some really good makeup going on. So this evil doctor turns himself into a monster so he can go and kill these women to get the glands. I think it's
Can we just clarify which glands? Are we talking mammary or just,
I think- yeah, it's the mammary glands.
The next
She
gland.
wakes up just
that's
covered in breasts.
that's a whole different film. Though,
That is
isn't
a
it?
whole
Depending
different
on which
film. The
glands
mammary
he's-
monster.
Right.
Yeah, entirely different film.
Atom Age Vampire. A sadist, a criminal, a depraved animal, more ferocious than Jekyll, more monstrous than Frankenstein, more bloody than Dracula.
There's a nice scene at the end. Can I do a spoiler alert on a 1960s film?
Well, you can do.
can
Yeah, that
hint
is
at it.
possible. Yeah, I
Can you
don't think.
hint at
Don't
it?
spoil it. Yeah. Maybe,
Okay, there is
maybe-
a fight near the end that just looks like two men hugging each other.
Oh,
I
that's
wanna
what all
watch
fights
this.
should
Yeah,
look like.
it's really nice.
So that's one to watch then.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant.
And definitely check out the Scott Bateman animated film of it, which you can actually buy online.
So that was about an old film, but now Nadia is going to speak to the director Ty West about his upcoming feature, The Innkeepers.
This is our last weekend open, so we've got to find some proof that My Little Mallory really exists before this place closes down.
I have my microphone so we can make do with EVP investigations.
Yes, I'd like a room for the night.
Since the hotel is practically empty, we might have a good chance of making some real contact.
What is it about horror films that that attracts you, and that's kind of what you focused on so far?
It's like borderline experimental film genre. I mean, as long as The Innkeepers is promising a ghost story and there are ghosts, I can kind of do anything I want.
Is it using ghosts as like the poetic license because you can do anything with the supernatural? Is that what the attraction is?
Sort of. I just think it's the only genre that you can pretty much experiment with, and the built-in audience is sort of okay with it. The problem is, lately, because horror became so successful in the past 10 years, everything becomes derivative and everything becomes aimed at the lowest common denominator. So within a genre that you can do almost anything, people do the same thing over and over again. So for me, what's appealing is to be able to try different things. So I've made 6 horror movies in 7 years, and despite them all being horror, I think they're all very different. And I think it's the only genre that you can really get away with that in, and that's interesting to me. Whatever the psychology is getting me interested in it, I'm not sure. I think as a kid, I was always attracted to the horror section in the video store because it was sort of the section you weren't supposed to be in, and it was kind of like, it was like where the creeps hung out, and it was something that as a kid you're not allowed to see. I think that was always appealing to me. Anything that was kind of counterculture was always interesting to me.
Can you pick out a few that really influenced you, like a few key sort of horror films that kind of really inspired you?
Well, I think The Shining was the first movie that really scared me. And I think, you know, like, on the complete opposite of the spectrum, the first movie that made me realize I could maybe make a movie was Bad Taste, which is Peter Jackson's first movie.
Yeah.
That was the first time that's the first time I ever went like, oh, I kind of could see how he did this movie. Because before that, the idea of making movies was very foreign to me. But, you know, the ones that really kind of I responded to were like The Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby, The Shining, The Changeling, Don't Look Now, Poltergeist, very sort of like traditional classic storytelling. And, you know, pretty much any kind of genre movie that treats it as a movie first and a genre movie second were always the ones that I tend to like the most, because I felt they cared more, they took themselves more seriously, and they were more relatable because of that.
And do you think, having watched so much horror, that you're sort of in a way sort of desensitized to it? Do you still get a buzz from it?
Very rarely, but it's because it's become so derivative. You know, I think when I see a horror movie that's different than the rest, it comes back a little bit, but I just so rarely see that yeah, it's not that I might be desensitized. It's more I've just become so analytical of it. I'm always like 3 steps ahead of the film, and as an audience, that's really boring to me. And that's something I try to do in my own films, is like subvert expectations, so that way, you know, it may take a little while, but I eventually will get the audience to where they don't know what's going to happen.
Did you hear that?
Hang on.
And on a personal level, do you actually believe in ghosts yourself? Are you into that sort of side of it? No?
I don't.
Because when you actually stayed at the Innkeepers is set at the Yankee Peddler Inn, and it's a real place in Connecticut, and you stayed there for 2 months when you were filming The House of the Devil, and that's what inspired you to write the film, isn't it? So what about your experiences there? Can you?
There again.
You would stay there again.
You know, it's like weird shit happens. There's a weird vibe. Doors open and close by themselves. TVs turn on and off. Lights turn off and on. I mean, all the sort of like ghost story stuff that people tell you happens. The town is obsessed with it. Everyone has their own stories. There's no lack of hauntings at the Yankee Peddler Inn.
Yeah.
I just have never seen a ghost. And if the door opens by itself, that's weird, but it doesn't mean it's a ghost. I would like to see a ghost. I think it would be cool. Staying there is as close as I've ever come to believing in ghosts. But yeah, it's weird. I mean, certainly a lot of the cast and crew and the town, the local people really believe it's haunted.
You want to communicate with the spirits in this hotel? I can help you do that. What do they want?
What would you like to see on the big screen if you were going to go to see a midnight movie?
I don't know. It probably wouldn't. I don't know if it would be a horror movie. I mean, it might be. I would like to just see like The Karate Kid on the big screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like movies that as a child meant a lot to me that I might have seen in the theater when I was really young and don't remember very well. I'm a big fan of the movie The Changeling, and I've seen it tons of times. And then when I was in college, it was playing in the theater, and I was like, oh, I've never seen it in the theater. And it was such a different experience. Movies that I've watched on repeat over and over again through my life, those are the kind of movies that I feel are great to see on the big screen, because it's like watching them for the first time.
Quite a serious guy, but really nice. And like, I just got a lot of time for him, because he's done a lot of amazing films with just like literally he's directed it, he's edited it, he's produced it, he's wrote it.
Bit of a one-man band of magic.
Yeah,
I love the fact there's House of the Devil, wasn't it?
The House of the Devil.
And then he released that on VHS.
I love
that.
I love that. It's really cool how he's done it. The House of the Devil, his film before The Innkeepers. You'd really like it actually, Liz. He's done it kind of retro style, so it's kind of like late 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
And he's actually really caught the feel of that kind of era in horror movies. He's just done it so well. And it's quite surprising. Like I think he's a really distinct new voice in cinema, and I think he's definitely one to watch.
And the poster for The Innkeepers. Was it? I don't know if it's the
poster for The Innkeepers. Yeah. Well, I mean, they did some interviews in front of the poster for The Innkeepers that our friend Tom Hodge did. Tom Hodge is the Dude Designs, and he did loads of our flyers.
He's very cool.
Yeah.
He's awesome. So
We've
he's
seen
doing
him
really
grow.
well.
Yeah, it's amazing though. He's really taken off.
He's really talented. Yeah. So check out the poster and the film. The film, The Innkeepers, is out on the 8th of June.
Other film events in June include a whole galaxy of midnight movie events all over the capital now that it's become very trendy, which is all great to see. Sugar House Studios, Hackney Picture House, Rio, of course, they always do midnight movies. But the one I've picked out for June is at the Prince Charles Cinema in their new strand called Into the Void of late night films. And this one is from 1967. It's King Kong Escapes, on Saturday 9th of June, 11:30. And this is King Kong when the same company who created Godzilla, they started using him in the films. And so there was Godzilla versus King Kong. And this is the second film in that studio. And this features Doctor Who, but not the Doctor Who, but a Doctor Who.
A Doctor Who.
A Doctor Who.
Not Sylvester McCoy.
No, not Sylvester McCoy, although maybe you could blow your eyes. But anyway, a Doctor Who uses King Kong to mine... No, he doesn't use King Kong, he uses a Mecha Kong, a robot version of King Kong, to mine for jewels, and then realise that goes wrong, has to get the real King Kong in. So you can imagine how great that film is.
To fight the Mecha Kong.
To fight
so
the
real
Kong.
King Kong has to fight the Robo.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds pretty good.
Okay.
Is it set to like Nintendo music?
I don't know.
That'd be good,
We'll have to find out and see. Also in June, 13th of June, at the BFI South Bank, The Flip Side. So two great fellas who go through the BFI archive to find really odd and weird things. They're doing actually a short film night. So films from like the late 60s, early 70s. They've got a film called Panic, one called The Lake, and one called 29. So these are all sort of short horror films. There's one about hitchhikers, one about rural
British,
mythic.
aren't they?
I think they're all British, these ones. Yeah, they usually go for British films. And then on 15th to 17th of June, it's the 11th Fantastic Films Weekend at the Bradford National Media Museum. Now, they just released their programme, and I was looking at it and I was like, wow, I might actually book a ticket up to Bradford, because it's a whole weekend of just awesome film. They have 70mm film, and they're doing a 70mm Big Trouble in Little China. Yeah. And they've also done Barbarella. They're showing a Troma triple bill, and they've got a special guest called Harley, I'm going to get this wrong, Cokeless, who did a film with Roger Corman called Battle Truck. But he also worked on Star Wars.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's a whole weekend. It's in the National Media Museum. And it really is really up our street. Really, it's all sort of older films.
Maybe we should all do a Midnight Movies field trip.
I think maybe we should.
Little weekend away.
Yeah.
So that is my top tips for June.
Coming up this summer, aside from all the usual sort of superhero blockbusters and whatnot, we've got Jaws is getting re-released. It's coming out on the 15th of June, Universal. And
It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws.
Lacey here has actually selected her top 3 Jaws moments to kind of get you guys in the mood for seeing it on the big screen again, and to remind you or refresh yourselves of how amazing this Spielberg classic is.
So in third place moment is when they're doing Scar comparison on the boat.
Nice.
Talking about various different sharks and large fish that have got them. And Roy Scheider's character... Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah, Scheider.
Yeah. He looks down at his appendix scar and then decides not to say anything.
Really I've done funny. That. I've got an appendix scar.
So these moments, are these all about men showing their flesh? Your top 3 moments in Jaws?
Well, wait a minute. Let's wait for the next one.
What?
No,
I know what she's like.
Well, you can't have a moment in Jaws that isn't somehow about flesh, can
Okay, go for it.
you? Okay.
Next one.
My next one, I'm torn. Can I have like a joint?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on
Okay.
then. Why not?
I'm not going to say the bit on the beach. Well, you know where they like focus in and then pull back.
contra zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not,
Yeah.
Oh, contra zoom. Is that what it's called?
yeah.
Yeah. Not saying that because
You know
everyone
what it's
would say
called.
that. Yeah. I don't know what it's called. It just looked really good, but I'm still not going to say it. Okay. Joint second place is when Roy Scheider is telling his child to get out of the boat that they've just bought him. This is after the second shark attack, and his wife says he can play in it if he wants, and then looks at some really, really old pictures of shark attacks, which look really Enid Blyton. They're brilliant. And then she shouts at the child, "Get out of the boat," which is quite funny. Again, comic moment. I'm going with comic moment.
Comedies.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But also, couldn't decide. You know when the head pops out of the boat, like the head.
That's a
all chewed
spoiler,
up?
I think.
My mum went to go and see it at the cinema with her mum, and said that they jumped like a foot in the air when the head popped out of the boat.
Hang on, that's your joint second. So you've got
Joint
another
second.
one.
My first one really is Chrissy's death at the beginning.
That is definitely
It's
a
like
spoiler.
the longest. So I think that's my favourite scene because it goes on for a really long time and it really makes you feel panicky and scared. Like more than anything else I think in the whole film, that scene is a killer.
I think that's going to be the most exciting thing, seeing it big on the big screen.
Of course it's going to do amazing box office.
Yeah.
Like, it's the big screen, it's going to be awesome.
But the thing is, I blur all of them because I remember seeing I think I saw the fourth one first, just because
So
it was on
wrong.
TV. That one was always on TV. Wasn't
That's
it?
the one with Michael Caine, right?
Michael Caine.
Because that's my favourite Jaws moment is when you... This is a spoiler alert, obviously. When you think that Michael Caine has been eaten by Lady Jaws.
Yeah,
And then he pops up again and he's fine. Oh my God, I was so relieved.
I remember that.
Yeah, so relieved.
So if you want to see the first Jaws and Richard Dreyfuss in his shorts, then...
Do you know what? He's not in his shorts. I'd like to point out to anyone, we're not good...
Sorry.
Trading Standards, I thought he was in his shorts. I was looking forward to it when I rewatched Jaws. No shorts.
That's such a shame.
He pulls one trouser leg up at one point, but that's
That's
it.
enough,
Doesn't
girls.
count.
That's enough
Come
for
on.
me.
Girls and boys. That's
Anyway.
yeah, Jaws re-released on the 15th of June. And we've got some exciting news for June of us.
Oh,
What was that?
that's
That
gonna
was a
be...
drum roll.
It's just like deafened everyone.
We are back officially doing Midnight Movies. We know you've missed us on the 30th of June, and our new venue is going to be the Roxy Bar and Screen because we love it there. And it's really good because you can get a drink after the film there as well because they've got
We
late
don't mind if you get up
license
in the middle of the film and get a drink.
Yeah.
That's,
But the
that's
bar,
the sort of atmosphere we create. Everyone can do what they want.
but it'll be like a bar will be closed, so it'll be just us.
They have got
Start
amazing
at 12.
projection as well, and it looks amazing with Blu-ray.
Yeah,
The stuff that we'll
expect
screen.
some Blu-ray treats.
So yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun planned coming up from the 30th of June. So keep an eye on our Facebook, which is Facebook.com/midmov. Twitter account is midnight_movies. And we've got a website as well, but that kind of just brings everything together. It's midnight-movies.co.uk. So that's it for this podcast. Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed it. And drop us a line, let us know what you want to see in the Midnight Movies programme for 2012. See you next time.
Bye. Yeah.
Hey, get off my leg!
Sorry, I peeked too soon.